Disasters invariably lead to people wanting to help out, and they invariably lead to scams, and that has happened with the Gulf oil crisis. So how do you avoid being scammed, and how can people there avoid being scammed? With us this morning is Steve SWeisman, author, The Truth About Avoiding Scams, a lawyer, also a professor at Bentley University. You've talked to us about these issues so many times, and this, another prime example. Are there scams, and what's happening in the wake of the Gulf oil crisis?
This one's the perfect storm of scams. You know, the scam artists, they get there before the EMTs at any national emergency, whether it's natural or unnatural. And the key thing here is it's on different levels. They're there as phony charities. They're there as we're from the government. We're here to help you. We're with the compensation fund, but they're not. They're here. They're providing jobs. Volunteers are going there to help out and getting scammed. And finally, there are people who are falling scams for inventions and companies that are going to alleviate the problems. So there's a host. It's just a slew of them. And to this point in time, there hasn't been a lot of publicity of some of these, so it really is pretty bad.
All right, so some folks down there are at risk of being scammed, and people up here who want to help or do something, maybe even go down there, are also at risk of being scammed. I guess for our audience here, we're more concerned about those people around here. So what should you do to avoid being scammed?
Well, twofold. First of all, if you're inclined to give towards a charity, you've got to check the charity out well. If you go online, make sure it has .org after the name rather than .com. A good place to go is charitynavigator.org. This is a site that evaluates charities, and you can tell which are the legit ones, which are the illegitimate ones, and even what are the so-called legitimate ones that may be spending 70% on their administrative costs. So this is a good way to know that your money is going to the good guys and for the people who really need it. If you're looking to volunteer for a job, you don't know who you're dealing with, and that's why it's always good to check it out with someone you do trust. Now, I always say, trust me, you can't trust anybody, but if you call the Attorney General's office, you can get a good idea as to which organizations are legitimate. And when you do, they're not going to charge you a fee to volunteer.
Have there been a lot of scams of people down there?
Yeah.
Yeah, like what? What's the worst one?
The worst are taking advantage of the victims itself because, as I say, the scam artists are the first responders. So they turn up, they tell them, okay, we're with the compensation fund, fill out this information, including Social Security and other information. So wham, they get hit with identity theft. Secondarily, we need a fee for processing, so they get hit with money out of their pocket.
Also, people up here may want to invest because oil stocks are depressed, or you're looking for investment opportunities. A lot of people do that. What's going on with that? Because there are scam possibilities there.
Absolutely, and these are the ones, Mike, where, boy, they sound so plausible, and some of the wild ideas may be legitimate, but you don't know if the idea is legitimate or the company is legitimate, and that's where you've got to go again to those you can trust, and you check with the Securities and Exchange Commission, you check with the Federal Trade Commission, you check with the Attorney General, and anytime someone's pressing you for your investment, it's got to be now, it's got to be wired, that should set off a bell.
All right. Well, you've set off some bells for us this morning. Once again, Steve SWeisman, the author of The Truth About Avoiding Scams from Bentley University. Thanks for being here. We appreciate it.
My pleasure.